Hello, my name is Elvis, and welcome to the start of a brand new month of themed unboxings. Basically, I wanted a bit of a stopgap before this year's brand new Hulkvember month kicks off, and well, the opportunity for a really fun theme came up, and I had to take it. So for the rest of August, enjoy what I'm calling the Summer of Stargate. Why Stargate? Well, it has to be without a doubt my favorite sci-fi franchise of all time. I grew up watching SG-1 and the Infinity cartoon as a little kid, and when I was older and could track down the original movie, that quickly became a genre favorite of mine. In fact, this Blu-ray copy of the extended cut is something I'm still very happy to have. And with most of my favorite collection, I like to have them present parts of stuff that I have deep connections with. So I was able to find 2 lots on eBay that tied directly into Stargate, and well, I had to jump at the chance. So let's get started. For the first few weeks, we're looking exclusively at this larger box first, and each video will cover only a bit of what's inside it. Because, well, it's kind of a lot, and I'll explain as we go along. But first, let's see what the starting players are going to be. So we're going to start looking out at the original 1994 Jack O'Neill and Daniel Jackson action figures, which with what I believe are their full and complete assortment of accessories. This particular eBay lot was basically a grab bag that purported to have all the figures and their accessories, but they weren't mint on card or anything, so they were just loose in bags and everything and all that. But I think I was able to rummage around enough to sort them. And yeah, I think that most of what I have here goes along with each figure. The only things that might be missing are these collectible tokens that most figures had, like a small quarter-size replica of things from the movie. As you can see, Jack O'Neill has his own right here, and we'll get into that a bit later, but nothing essential is missing. So I think I have everything each figure actually needs, and let's move along and look at these more in depth. Let's start with Jack O'Neill, who was played in the movie by Kurt Russell, and that is something that you would not be able to tell at all just by going by the face sculpt here. One of the main things about the 1994 Hasbro line for Stargate is that each character seems to have come more from stock bodies, and that they then did minor detailing when they got the movie license. And you'll see more of that when we get to the other figures. Like, this is maybe the definition of a generic army face sculpt, which is weird because the actual card artwork on the boxes understood what the character should look like. Here's the card back compared to a screenshot from the movie, and you see that whoever did the art really tried their hardest to match together what Kurt Russell actually looked like in the movie and what the figure ended up looking like. And it's an admirable job. Unfortunately, the figure itself only really gets to looking like Kurt Russell when you include the beret and the figure comes with, which is its own separate piece. Now, I've heard that people have trouble getting the beret on. As you can see, I'll slide it back and forth a bit, but there's just not enough clearance to really give it a nice grip, and it just keeps popping off the back end. You'll feel like it's going to stick on, but then it just ends up not. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a hairdryer on this and make it really soft and loose and pliable. And then we're going to see if it has enough grip to grab onto the other end of the head with some security. Alright, that did not help. There's just not enough space at the back of the head for the plastic to make any sort of actual connection. Like, it'll stay on and there's no issue with falling, but there's no grip. Just leverage. Just one touch and it'll snap right off. But you know, that's about as good as you're going to make him look like Kurt Russell from the movie, and it's fine enough. Before we get into other accessories, let's look at the articulation, and you'll see we have the basics: both arms, both legs, and the head. It's a very loose head. But nothing at the feet, nothing at the hands, it's a basic stock body. And it gives it this old school feel, and that's fine because this is basically old school. Now, this is one of the collectible tokens I was talking about. They're just small-scale replicas of things from the movie. O'Neill here comes with the Stargate replica, and they call them artifacts. They're not scaled to the figures at all. Maybe you put it far in the distance, you can get some forced perspective, but they're mainly here to be reminders of the movie. And a bunch of them, they just serve no purpose, they have no connection, they're mostly random stuff. I mean, it's fun to have. I'm glad O'Neill comes complete, but overall, it's nothing too necessary. Next up, we have his main weapon, which is this weird cannon thing. I'm not quite sure exactly how it goes. I think it goes through his hand right there, and then it kind of rests along the side of his shoulder. Then we get 2 missiles, which are fun. Let's load one directly in and then see how it goes. Yeah, directly in, and then let's see how this goes. Ooh, nice. Let's get the second one in there. I think there's a specific group to do it in, and this thing just does not want to hold on to the grip very well. It's at an angle with the hand, so it's not a secure grip. It's always butting into the rest of the arm, and it just keeps popping out. It's really silly. Let's see if I can get a good angle there. Okay. Nice. And the only other accessory it comes with is another firearm. Let's see if I can get a grip on it, or any better than the last one. There's a peg on it, and I don't really know why. He has no other pegs on his body, so it can't be stored anywhere. There's another figure that might match, but as of now, I can't be sure. There's no way to get O'Neill to hold it. It's at an angle, and there's no way to really pose it. The only way to get it secure is if you splay it out like that, and it's just goofy as hell looking. And like I said, the beret keeps falling off. Let's get him all fully kitted out. And there we go, the full Colonel Jack O'Neill. Now let's move on to the next figure. Next up is Dr. Daniel Jackson, played by James Spader in the movie. And yeah, this one is even less like the actor than the previous figure was, which is saying something. Now, as we can see by this next comparison, the artist again tried very admirably to combine what the toy looks like with the actor's actual likeness. But it's stilted because Daniel wears very noticeable eyeglasses in the movie, and he doesn't wear a baseball cap, he wears a military cap. But still, at the very least, they made a point to include the raw necklace on the artwork. And look, see, it's even one of the most noticeable details on the figure itself, which is great because it's a major plot point in the movie. Anyway, like O'Neill, we got both arms, both legs, and the head. The big boon here is that the baseball cap stays on really securely. Again, it's not accurate. You can't recognize him with or without it, and it doesn't really add to the sculpt like the beret did, but at least it's a working hat. It stays secure, and it's even hard to take off. That's so much better than the beret. Let's see what else he comes with. First off, this is the artifact that Jackson comes with. It's the pyramid on the alien planet that they go to that holds the Stargate. It's cast in black plastic. It's pretty cool actually, but it's just a hollow piece and kind of flimsy. Again, nice to have. I'm glad it came with the figure even if it's not mint, but it's not something that I would have been awake at night hoping I had. But it's all good. It's even shorter than the Stargate was, so it doesn't even make a complete set cohesively aesthetically. Now the big piece that comes with Jackson is this backpack, like this safari backpack. And this is actually a lot more necessary to how Jackson works, because he can't balance at all. It's insanely hard to get him to stand upright, and I'm hoping that this gives him some balance. And as we can see, it kind of does. In his standing position without any accessories, he's always falling backwards, but with it on, he has a little bit more sturdiness. But it's not a lot. It's still not the best, but I'll take it. Hopefully more accessories will help, keep him planted on the ground. Now for Jackson's main firearm, we have another weird looking gun that I don't know how to use. I think there's a shoulder thing going on here. Like it's meant to curve around this shoulder like bazooka. But his arms don't have the range for this kind of thing. Is it meant to be a kind of elbow thing? I really wish I had the instructions here. It seems like it should be an elbow thing, but there's no grip. And maybe it's not meant to be held. Maybe it's meant to be clipped around the arm. Anyway, I'm fairly sure it's meant to be an over-the-shoulder thing. But it's literally impossible without breaking the figure because there's no articulation and get the range there. And it kind of confirms to me that these were stock figures that they just redecoed to be Stargate ones. I guess I could try to ledge it between the arm and the head and try resting it there, but it's not even secure. And it's the best you can do if you want it on the shoulder. And it seems like that's the only thing that can remove the hat, just bumping it against the bazooka. Anyway, let's see. Nice. Now let's try the second one. Good. Now the only other firearm that Jackson comes with is this machine gun type thing. I don't know anything about guns, so if I got that wrong, I'm sorry. But let's see if I can put it in his hand without problem. And honestly, I think Jackson holds this one a lot better. His firearm hand on his left side isn't as awkwardly positioned as O'Neill's was, so he can have some semblance of pointing it forward. Now let's put it on his right. And yeah, it's still way more coherent looking. And that's it for Jackson. Let's have them side by side. Without the accessories, O'Neill stands perfectly. Jackson, I have no idea. His hips and his legs might be too gummy, and it seems like they might be sculpted weirdly, and that might be causing issues of stability, either leaning backwards or forwards. Sometimes he stands well, and sometimes not. Anyway, these are the first two Stargate movie action figures. And I have to say that even though they're really faithless to the movie, and that they're really goofy and corny, and that there's a lot of issues, and we'll see more issues in later figures, I'm glad to have them anyway. I love the movie, and I'm happy to have a physical representation of what the movie means to me outside the Blu-ray itself. So I'm glad I got them. They're in really great condition too, despite being loose grab bag items. No scuffing, no missing paint, no chipping paint. They're just about perfect. Hopefully the others next week will be just as good. I know that there were other more faithful looking figures done by Diamond Select as well, but those were specifically for the TV show. So for the movie, these are actually the only game in town. And they're cool enough for what they are. And I can't wait to see the rest. Thank you so much for listening. It means so much. Have a great week. And see you again next time for more Summer of Stargate. It's gonna be even weirder going forward. Thank you so much, and yeah, be safe out there.